It's the most frustrating moment a man can experience. You are right there, in the heat of the moment. Everything is perfect. And suddenly, your body decides it's over, before you want it to be. You feel that point of no return rushing towards you like a freight train, and no matter how hard you try to think about something boring or clench your muscles, you can't stop it. You step out of the moment feeling defeated, wondering why you can't just have the control you had when you were younger. Most men think this is a psychological problem, are too anxious or too excited. But as a doctor, I can tell you, it's almost always a mechanical malfunction. Your pelvic floor is acting like a high-tension spring that's been wound too tight. The moment a little bit of pressure is added, the spring snaps. You aren't weak. You are simply over-calibrated. What if I told you there is a pressure release valve in your nervous system? A way to hit a reset button in just 10 seconds that signals your brain to stay in the zone, stay hard, but stop the clock. In this video, I'm going to show you the 10-second pelvic drop. It's a technique that elite practitioners use to bypass the emergency shutoff of the male body. It's time to stop fighting your body and start commanding it. To understand how to stop the clock, you have to understand why your body wants to stop it in the first place. Inside your pelvis, your prostate, and the surrounding muscles act like a highly sensitive pressure sensor. Think of your nervous system as an electrical circuit. When you are in the moment, the voltage, the arousal, begins to climb. For most men, because of stress, sitting, or old habits, their pelvic floor is already pre-charged. It's like a fuse box that is already running at 95% capacity. The moment the intensity hits 100%, the fuse blows. Your brain receives a system overload signal, and it triggers the finish to protect the prostate from what it perceives as excessive pressure. This is the short circuit. You aren't finishing because you want to. You are finishing because your body thinks it's saving you from a surge. The secret isn't in trying harder to hold back. That actually adds more voltage and blows the fuse faster. The secret is in learning how to ground the circuit, how to lower the internal pressure manually before it hits the red zone. But to do that, we have to look at the one muscle that acts as the main switch for this entire system. If you want to stop the shot, you have to know which finger is pulling the trigger. There is a specific muscle at the base of your pelvic floor called the bulbocavernosus. In medical terms, this is the ejector muscle. Its primary job is to contract rhythmically to complete the process. But here is the secret. In most men, this muscle is hyperactive. Because of the way we've trained ourselves to finish quickly in private, or because of constant pelvic tension, this muscle has developed a twitchy reflex. It's like a hair trigger on a gun. Even a small amount of excitement causes this muscle to start microcontracting. You might not even feel it, but your brain does. The brain feels those tiny twitches and says, "Okay, the process has started, let's finish it." You've probably been told to do Kegels, to squeeze this muscle harder, to stay in control. But for 90% of men, that is the worst possible advice. Squeezing a muscle that is already twitching is like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. You are just telling the ejector that it's time to go. To gain infinite control, you don't need to learn how to squeeze. You need to learn how to deactivate the bulbocavernosus on command. You need to learn how to turn the hair trigger back into a safety lock. We've been conditioned to think that more power equals more tension. We clench our jaw, we hold our breath, and we squeeze our glutes when we want to perform. But in the world of male biology, tension is the thief of time. Think of a Kegel, like stepping on the gas pedal of a car that's already redlining. You're already at the limit, and by squeezing, you're just pushing the engine to explode. This is why Kegels often lead to more frustration and less control. You are training the ejector muscle to be even more reactive. The deep release is the exact opposite. It is the brake pedal. When you learn to consciously drop the pelvic floor, you are sending a stop signal to the sympathetic nervous system, the part of your brain that handles the fight or flight response. By opening the space between your sit bones, you are literally creating more room for blood to flow without building up the pressure that triggers the finish. It's a paradox. To stay on longer, you have to learn how to let go. You have to convince your nervous system that there is no emergency. In the next part, I'm going to show you exactly how to find this drop sensation, so you can use it as your secret weapon. Let's learn the drop. You can do this sitting, standing, or lying down. This is the manual override for your nervous system. Step 1. Locate the hanging weight. Imagine your pelvic floor. The area between your tailbone and your pubic bone is a hammock. Most of the time, that hammock is pulled tight. I want you to visualize the four corners of that hammock suddenly letting go. Step 2, the reverse push. Take a deep breath into your lower belly. As you exhale, instead of pulling your stomach in, I want you to gently push your internal organs down toward your rectum. It's not a strain like you're in the bathroom. It's a soft, expansive release. Imagine you are trying to make your sit bones move further apart. Step 3, the 10-second hold. Once you feel that opening at the base of your body, hold that position of openness for 10 seconds. You might feel a strange sensation, like a sudden cooling or a drop in heart rate. That is your nervous system shifting from high alert to safe mode. Step 4, the check-in. If you feel your jaw clench or your shoulders rise, you've lost the drop. Relax your tongue, relax your throat, and let the pelvis sink again. This 10-second drop is your reset button. In the moment of high intensity, this single movement tells the bulbocavernosus muscle to stand down and stop pulling the trigger. Now, the pelvic drop is powerful, but it's 10 times more effective when you pair it with the cooling breath. When you are close to the edge, your breathing naturally becomes shallow, fast, and high in your chest. This is survival breathing. It tells your brain, we are under attack, finish the job now. To stop the clock, you must do the exact opposite. The technique. In the middle of the intensity, slightly open your mouth. Take a slow, deep sip of air, as if you are drinking through a straw. Feel that cool air hit the back of your throat. This cold sensation on the palate sends an immediate cooling signal to the vagus nerve, which is the main highway for relaxation in your body. As you exhale, make a soft ha sound, completely silent if you're with a partner. And visualize that cool air traveling all the way down your spine, directly into the overheated prostate area. The synergy, the sip, cools the brain. The ha exhale syncs with the pelvic drop. When you combine the drop with this cooling breath, you aren't just trying to hold back. You are literally draining the excess electrical charge out of your body. You'll feel the urgency vanish in about 5 to 10 seconds, leaving you hard, present, and in total command. It's like stepping out of a hot fire into a cool breeze. Now, how do you master this? You don't wait for a high-stakes moment with a partner to try it for the first time. You practice in your own private laboratory. To turn these 10 seconds into a permanent skill, you need to use the 3-stage training protocol during your solo practice. Stage 1, the warm-up, 0 to 60. Start your practice, but keep your arousal at a 6 out of 10. Stay there for 5 minutes. Your goal is simply to keep your pelvic floor dropped while you feel the sensation. If you feel a twitch, stop, do the cooling breath, and drop again. Stage 2, the red line, 8 to 9. Deliberately bring yourself close to the point of no return, that 9 out of 10 intensity. When you feel the freight train coming, stop all movement. Immediately perform the 10-second pelvic drop and the cooling breath. Watch how the urge recedes while your firmness remains. This is where you prove to your brain that you are the boss, not the reflex. Stage 3, the recovery. Once the urge has dropped back to a 5, start again. Repeat this approach and retreat 3 times before you allow yourself to finish. By doing this, you are literally rewiring your nervous system. You are teaching your bulbocavernosus muscle that it doesn't have to fire just because the intensity is high. You are building the stamina of a marathon runner in the body of a man who used to be a sprinter. Most men spend their whole lives rushing to the finish line because they are afraid that if they stop, they'll lose the fire. But true mastery is knowing that the fire is yours to control. You are the one with your hand on the dial. By practicing the 10-second pelvic drop, you are doing something 99% of men never will. You are mastering your own nervous system. You are moving from a state of reactive survival to a state of conscious power. I want you to try this protocol tonight. Don't judge yourself if it's not perfect the first time. You are building a bridge between your mind and a muscle that has been ignored for decades. Every time you drop the tension, the bridge gets stronger. Remember, a man who can control his energy in the bedroom is a man who can control his energy in the boardroom, in his relationships, and in his life. Control starts at the base. If you're ready to take back the wheel and stop the short circuit, leave a comment below with the word control. It tells me you're committed to the training. And if you want to dive deeper into the science of male energy and prostate health, make sure you've subscribed. We have a lot more ground to cover on this journey to your peak potential. I'm Dr. Rebecca Clark. Relax the tension, breathe through the fire, and I'll see you in the next video.